All right, so I want to make a quick video of my Marlin 336 3030. I did make a few more upgrades to it this week, so I want to go over those upgrades that I made this week and kind of show you, what I've done and sort of where I got these parts and stuff and why I did it. So if you look back on several videos back that I was talking about, I think it was the part two of my Marlin refinish when I refinished the wood on this gun, and then I went into talking about like what I've done to the gun. I made a few changes since then, and all these changes were made this week. So for the most part, I basically just changed the sight setup and the scope setup and the scope rail system from the old system that I had. And so one of the changes I made was I went to the Scout, the XS lever Scout, which I ordered off Amazon. This was about $60 for the lever Scout. Now the reason I went for the lever Scout is because I wanted to sort of move my sight, my scope forward, because before I just had a rail, that was setting from like here to here, and my scope was just sort of sitting way back here, and it was sort of hanging, back past the hammer system, which there's nothing wrong with that. Some people don't mind that setup, but I kind of wanted something different. There's a reason I kind of wanted this setup. I wanted to go with the Scout setup because the Scout setup, it's kind of hard to explain. If you've ever hunted deer with a scope, using a scope, the reason you want to go with the Scout setup, well, this is the reason I want to go for it, is because it's, I hunt in a wooded area. I typically hunt in a wooded area where there's a lot of trees and stuff around. And the Scout setup just sort of allows, the scope not to be so close to your eye. And it allows you, by having a forward set scope like this, it sort of allows you to maybe track deer, because there's been times when I've been I've been out hunting and I'm looking through the scope. My scope is zoomed in about maybe 30-40%. I can adjust, while I'm out there, I'm sort of adjusting it between, not more than 40% is where I keep it adjusted at. But what I'm trying to say is, by having by having the Scout setup, with the forward setting scope, it allows you to track deer, on each side of your scope. And that way, you can sort of like track a deer, like sort of walking into your scope sight, into your sight picture of your scope. And as he's crossing, you can sort of get a shot off, because when you're out deer hunting, at least me, I try not to move around so much. I try not to become, sighted by deer or hogs or whatever I'm hunting. So I try to be as still as possible. So that's sort of why I went with this setup. And by having this setup, I had to remove the factory Marlin sight, and that means I needed a rear iron sight, which I picked up this sight from Wild West Guns. I mean, it should be printed on there. You can see where it says Wild West Guns on there. This was an easy install. This sight here has windage and elevation adjustments on it. This is probably one of the best sights I've ever seen for a lever gun. It is an expensive sight. It is about $130 just for the sight alone. So yeah, it's a pretty expensive sight. But if you're looking for a good sight, this is an excellent sight. And now I made it with the front sight that I have here, the True Grow front sight. Now when I put it on, I went out and I was looking through it with the scope off, and my rail does not block. My rail does not block the sights. So this setup here, what I have, is the best setup that I have that I've ever had on this gun. And this is the final setup. I mean, nothing is sighted in. I need to sight the iron sights in, and I need to sight the scope in. The iron sights, if I can hit 60 yards, 60, 70 yards with the iron sights, I'm good with that. You know, the scope, you know, I'm gonna sight it in about 100 yards. So, but all in all, I just wanted to make a little video of my brand new setup for my Marlin 3030 336. I cannot wait to get out and get it sighted in. I love the 3030 rifle, especially this one. And this is not an expensive rifle. This is not an expensive rifle. This is a rifle that I bought at Walmart for 370 bucks. And this is my deer hunting rifle. So, I mean, for the most part, I'm going to use a scope for the most part. But again, if I ever want to take the scope off, you know, I got a good rear sight. So, I just kind of wanted to update what's been going on with my 3030. And this is the final setup. And I won't be changing it again, because this is just an awesome setup. And I cannot wait to get it sighted in. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching the video.